I've got an artist I want to introduce you to tonight. So buckle up, hit subscribe, and stay tuned. Welcome back to Modern Comic Mondays. I'm your host, ComicManAndy, the modern comic show about more than just comics, even a little things outside of comics that have a little bit to do with comics and maybe kind of a little bit not. But buckle up, hit subscribe, stay tuned. You're going to find out more tonight. Like I said, I want to introduce you to an artist tonight who does fantastic work that we discovered recently this season. And we've got some great announcements coming up for this Friday. And we've got a special co-host tonight. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. So like we said, welcome to Modern Comic Mondays. We're going to get right into this. And with a little bit of a story to start out as people filter into the chat, I discovered Beth the Chalk Girl and her art just a month or so ago at Northwest Indiana Comic Con, where we were walking around with Skeff and stumbled into So Quiltable's booth, if I can get those two words tied together, stumbled upon their booth and found this quilt hanging up and absolutely had to snag this for the wife. This quilt with this original Soka art on there from Beth was absolutely jaw-dropping and stopped me in my tracks, and we had to pick this up for the wife. Like I said, if you guys saw the content on TikTok and Instagram Reels where we surprised her with it, she's absolutely in love with it. So it had us digging a little bit deeper to find out more about the artist. And just over on the left side of the screen there, you'll see the Grogu piece as well is from her. And just some phenomenal work. So Modern Comic Mondays is more than just comics. It's some pop culture and some other art related stuff. So why not talk a little bit about this artist that I want you, the community, to meet and welcome into the community? Because as we all know, as artists grow and get deeper into their art, they oftentimes get picked up for comic book covers. That's a real thing that happens out in the industry in time. And I feel like, and I hope you guys will feel like this too, as you get to know Beth and her art, you'd be pretty shocked as to, hey, why isn't this on one of the comic book covers that we're buying? I mean, this is some killer stuff. So let me hit up this chat real quick before we introduce everybody, because we have Mark. What's good, man? Good to see you. Daymares is in the chat. What's up, brother? Good to see you as well. I know you're a huge fan of art, just within comic books and without or outside of comic books. And come on, Mama April. Good to see you. Hello. How are you? Fantastic to have you here. Speaking of art, Josh dabbles in art as well. Josh, good to see you, man. Awesome scores today and the other day. Thanks for sharing those on IG, man. Those books are looking fantastic. I thought you were Skeff all this time. So that's the running joke. If you ever run into Skeff at a convention, you have to call him ComicManAndy. And if you ever run into me at a convention, you got to call me Skeff, because that seems to be the running joke that is absolutely hilarious. We got plenty of snow snacks because we're up here in the Great North, where there's lots of snow, because I see what you did there. Zuni, a little fist bump action on a Modern Comic Monday. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Speaking of the man, the myth, the legend, what's up, Dave Walker? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Mom, love to have you here every time. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Michael, what's up, guys? Good to see you as well. Rainbow, thanks for being here. How's everybody doing tonight? Awesome. And there is the CEO of the Comic Dojo herself, who will be sharing her experience live in the chat tonight with that surprise quilt that she's absolutely over the moon with. You hitting Apollo Heroes this weekend? I should. I'm going to look into it, but I'm still kind of on recovery mode and resting as much as possible. I might need another weekend of just some light chores at home and resting. It's that time of year where non-COVID related illnesses kind of hit you hard with some respiratory stuff, bronchitis. That stuff kind of still floats around tail end of the winter here. So we're still on kind of recovery mode. Hopefully maybe I can jaunt out for a bit, because Heroes does sound really good. That does sound fun. Double O, speaking of hitting up conventions within Michigan in the area, Double O, it was good to see you again the other weekend. Hopefully I can run into you again at the next one over there in Detroit. That's awesome. Evolution Rehab, what is up? You are here. Thanks for being here as well. We've got everybody in the chat tonight. There are 15 people watching live. Thank you so much. For those of you watching on the replay, don't forget to hit subscribe and hang out for more great content. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you on a brief little walk here quick, because down below are all of Beth's links, all of her, in fact, let's just show you real quick. Let me pull this up on the other screen, because what we want you to do tonight is to follow Beth on her social media channels and avenues. And here is her website to start, where you can find her at adventuresofchalkgirl.com. So what we're going to do is we're going to start dropping all of these in the chat right here live for everybody to make sure that they hit up there. And I'm going to do a little screen inception, and you guys are going to be like, what is going on? Because I'm going to pull up this link. And this is one of my favorite links right here for Instagram, because this is where you can kind of directly connect with her and see what she has going on. And more importantly is the Linktree Avenue, where everything is set up, ready to go here. Her Etsy store is available, so we're dropping that in the chat right now, because that's where you can check out a lot of her awesome stuff in her prints. She has more than prints too. She has buttons, but wait, there's more. Not only that, she's got Twitter. She has YouTube. So those of us here that are fans of YouTube can subscribe to her here directly on YouTube. With 141 subscribers, you definitely bump up those numbers for her tonight and this week. And when it comes to YouTube, she is also on Twitch. And if I can remember correctly, with a little linkception here, we can find the Twitch. And this is actually really cool too, because a lot of the work that she does live can be seen on Twitch as well, if you're a fan of Twitch. So once again, we're making it easy here real quick on the fly before we introduce everybody to drop all of these links here. What else? We got that link tree for Facebook, Instagram. We did Instagram. Here's the Facebook link. We're saving you guys and cutting it right to the chase here just by dropping these links in here. So whatever your favorite avenue for social media, you've got it all right here, ready to go. So that's just a ton of fun right there. And if you saw the little sneak peek of the background that she made up for us tonight, which is absolutely fantastic, I want to get you guys introduced real quick, because here she is, the myth, the legend, Beth. How's it going tonight?
It is so good. You have the best introductions. Like the quick blip that we were on, was it last week already? Was it a week ago that we did this on Monday?
Oh, yeah.
And your intro like was making me tear up about how you found the quilt. And like today, you knock it out of the park every time. Every time.
Remember when I said the gift of gab is a real thing?
Yeah.
I just gab.
No, it was I'm honored. I'm honored to have that kind of introduction from somebody. So thanks for sharing all of that. And for anyone that is watching and didn't get any of those links, the QR code that's in the bottom left hand of your screen. Yep, left hand is my link tree. So you could just scan that really quick if you needed to get to one of those links.
You want to talk about baller level work right here, like straight up, like look at what Beth made for tonight's show. This is all Beth's artwork right above us. Her QR code, her logo, and down below her is her link and all of her. I like that you're looking down at it too.
I'm looking. So again, my sight line is funky today. But yes, I can see it. It's right there.
That's just the cueing of it was perfect when you look down right over it. Like, that's very cool. Yes, Daymares makes a really important comment, or has a really important comment here. She has her schedule set up for all the Comic Cons this year for 2020. So don't forget, you guys are going to be able to run into her doing work live at a convention, which I can't wait for you guys to see some of this. Now, thank you so much for your time tonight. It just seemed like the natural evolution to go to an hour-long show to highlight you and the work that you do and introduce you to the comic book community out there, at least the part that comes and hangs out with us and anybody watching on the replay. Because like we talked about earlier before, as artists kind of grow and develop their art and their following, they sometimes segue into comic books.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Like, I was getting like this happy bubble of joy to be like, how cool would that be if my stuff was on a comic book?
No joke. That's what's extremely attractive about your art, is when you catch some of this art, you're like, I've spent way too much money on covers that are far less superior to this, and this could be on the cover of a comic book that I should have in my collection. That's essentially what comes to my mind when I see some of your pieces.
Well, thank you.
And before we get too far into the discussion, I'd like to welcome tonight's co-host, a good friend who's made time tonight to hang out, Ryan, man, from Rhinoverse. It's so good to see you, brother.
What's going on, everyone? Thanks for inviting me, Andy. It's been I've been looking forward to this one. It's always cool to be on a show with my main man Andy, and then to have someone really special like Chalk Girl here. That's gonna be pretty cool. I can't wait to pick her brain on some of her different artwork. I was looking at that little montage. What do you call that? A montage? What would you call that?
For what part? Like
All
up on the screen?
The thing on the
It's just a collage.
Collage, montage. I don't know what a montage is. I guess
montages would be the video equivalent to a collage. Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to be fancy, but I mean some of the detail. The guy that's right there next to the the Pikachu. I was looking at that guy, like, man.
Henry Cavill as Witcher.
Yeah, that is some awesome. Really, really. I was like, wow.
Well,
that guy's alive right there, but he's not alive. He's just a piece of art. That's really cool.
Well, thank you.
I'm an artist of a different form, but I really admire someone that can do what you do. I think it's amazing. I can always see things in my mind, but I can never get them down to these things right here. I draw like this. This is how I draw. Yeah. And you're able to translate it into your hands and into beautiful pieces like that. It's amazing.
It's not that easy. I am definitely a hardcore reference person. I have this belief that there are two kinds of artists in the world. They're the kind that can like picture something in their head and draw it, and then there's somebody that can photocopy something to the nth degree. I'm the Xerox machine. I cannot pull stuff from my head and put it down. I need all sorts of reference. So yeah.
Did that work when you were taking tests? Whenever you were in school, you could like
no. Unfortunately, or it did, and I could see the page, and I could see the picture, and I could see the text, but I couldn't see the answer. It's like somebody redacted the answer from my memory.
It out.
Yeah.
You're muted.
Oh no!
See, you'd think I'd know what I'd be doing by now, and the boss just laughed at me too upstairs. That's actually a really good point that you make in a segue, because one of the comments that I saw that first came up on one of your pieces, the Ahsoka piece, is somebody commented that they were absolutely flabbergasted and amazed at how you're able to capture light with chalk.
Yeah, that things that glow make me happy. And there's a little bit, I will not lie, I will 100% all the time come forward that there is a little bit of Photoshop magic that happens after I draw the picture. But for the sake of the drawing, like I love things that glow. To me, that's what magic is. And I just, in any picture I will try to make something glow.
Nice.
I bet Star Wars would be is pretty fun to draw them, because there's a lot of little glowing things. Like they're not. It's like it's dark, but there's like little glowing things all in the picture.
Yeah, for sure.
Lightsaber, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a Kylo picture that has the lightsaber on it, and that was really fun to draw too. Or like lightning. I have a Palpatine picture, and there's just lightning everywhere. Doctor Strange.
Chalk is obviously dark. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I have some things in front of me. I brought a whole bunch of little samples in case we wanted to show some people.
We can do some screen share and stuff as we go too, but before we get too much further, as the people that are watching here tonight, there is a giveaway tonight at the end of the show. I will be giving away a $20 gift card to Beth's store tonight. So for everybody staying and watching live, as you stay and watch live, at the tail end of the show before we call it a night, anybody that is willing to enter, that can enter, we'll throw you guys on a wheel. We'll do it on the fly, and the winner will receive a $20 credit to Beth's store tonight, the Etsy store. Those links we drop below, and we'll drop that link again later. So I see people filtering in right now that just might have missed it. We're doing a $20 giveaway tonight to Beth's Etsy store. So stay tuned for the tail end of that.
And glow.
Yeah, look at that. Pow.
Yeah.
It's absolutely astonishing. And this is a great point to really start kind of the interview that we were talking about a little bit. And Ryan, jump in at any point when you have questions, but we kind of want to start it out with hearing your origin story, if you will.
Yeah, I'm interested in the quilts.
Well, not just that too. I think the quilts are a little after the origin story, but I'm kind of curious on how Beth started out and really what fed or fueled her fire at the beginning.
I will weave the two together because one of the most recent things that has happened for me is the partnership with So Quiltable. So we'll start from the beginning.
You said weave together.
I
Cat out with my drums.
This is dad joke central here, so
It's awesome. So I have been drawing since I was a kid. My mom is an artist. Her grandfather and uncle were artists, and she lived with both of them, and they kind of gave her this talent, and she passed it on to me. And it was always the thing that I could turn to. It was always the thing that I was like semi good at. And so ever since I was a kid, I've been drawing nonstop. The chalk part of it came in 2009. I was bored one summer day. And so I went out on my driveway and I started drawing with sidewalk chalk just because I could, because it was something to do. And I decided to draw the first Harry Potter book cover. I've been a fangirl for life, for all sorts of fandoms, and that's what captured my attention that day. So I drew that. It was really cool. A couple weeks later, I drew a whole bunch of Pixar characters, and I didn't really think a lot of it. It was just something to do. But people were in the neighborhood, like that would go along for like a nighttime bike ride or something. You'd hear them out the window, like just like staring and looking at the driveway, which was really cool. But the next summer I had photos of those drawings and I applied at Six Flags Great America in Gurnee, Illinois. And I had no idea what kind of job I wanted there. I applied for certain things, but I brought a portfolio just to say like, here's other stuff that I can do. Excuse me. And so I had those pictures of that stuff on the driveway in that portfolio, and they saw it and they immediately called corporate and made me a job at the park so that I could draw one picture a day, 6 days a week. And I did that for 5 summers. It was really cool. So I really learned how to hone like superheroes and cartoon characters and really kind of take it to the next level. And then that ended after 5 years. The following summer, or like the next 2 summers or something, a convention came to Chicago. I'm about an hour north of Chicago. And I thought like, how cool would it be to just go and see what would happen if I were to draw? And this is probably my favorite part of the story. I emailed them and I was asking what price a booth would cost and what the requirements were. And I was explaining like, I draw for people. I am entertainment. Do you have a line somewhere that I could entertain people while they're in line? Can I be a kind of a freebie at your convention? And they said, well, we really don't do that. And how would you even clean up the chalk? Like, we can't just have you cleaning on the floor of the convention hall. And I said, oh, don't worry. I figured out a way to make it portable. Like I just pick it up at the end of the night and then I take it home. And they're like, oh, that's cool. Well, here's our booth price. You can have a corner for like $100, which is totally rare for anyone who doesn't buy convention booths all the time. And I was like, great, awesome. I immediately turned to my husband and I said, we have to figure out a way to make chalk portable.
So you didn't know how. You just
nope. Didn't know how. So we figured out that if I took canvas and I painted it black, and if I carpet taped it together, that I could fill up an entire 10 by 10 booth and I could draw for the day. We had nothing to sell. We knew that it was like we knew it was $100 booth that we were going to lose for the day, but maybe exposure. I had no business cards. I had nothing except for me, and my husband came and answered questions, but we got all sorts of questions that we weren't expecting. So people started asking us, how much is that? What are you going to do when you're done with it? Like, how do you get it home? Do you seal it? All these things. And we were like, this is the first time we've done this. We don't know. So we literally didn't know how to get it home, which was awesome. It was such a great weekend. It was such a great weekend. And the cherry on top was meeting Stephen Amell. So for those of you that ever watched the CW shows, the Arrow, Flash, Black Lightning, all of that stuff, Supergirl, Stephen Amell plays Green Arrow, and he was at that convention. It was a Heroes and Villains convention, and they kind of leaned toward these characters from the CW shows to have as their guests. And excuse me, it was before this convention, this particular convention got super crowded. And at the time, celebrities could like just walk the floor and not have to be worried about mega crowds or whatever. And so there was a point during the first day in which I was drawing Green Arrow that our immediate, like friendly booth neighbors, vendor neighbors that became part of our vendor family immediately. One of the guys there, just big guy, bigger personality, even bigger voice, saw Steven walking down the alleyway, and he's like, "Hey, she's drawing your face on the floor over here." And I was looking down at the floor. So from what people have told me was that he like that obviously caught Steven's attention, and he like stopped for a second, but then he did a double take, and then he slowly walked over. Sorry, I have been running outside, so my throat is like, it's all sorts of whatnot. But he saw it, he did a double take, he came over, and from what I remember that day, like that moment was such a blur. From what I remember, he said, "Wow, that's really good." And I was about halfway done. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm so embarrassed. Like, it's not done yet. Like, I want you to see the full thing, not halfway through. Like, is this enough? Like, whatever. And he asked to take a photo with it. And I said, sure. And being the naive vendor person that I was like, can I be in it? He was like, yeah, sure. So we were in a photo together. He took a photo of the halfway process. And then he talked with us a little bit. He was like, I don't even remember the whole conversation, but he said, "When do you think you'll be done?" And my timeline was the end of the convention day, which was 6:00. So I said 6:00. And he's like, "Great, I'll come back and take a photo with the finished product." He hosts these wine events. Stephen Amell has a winery that on Saturday nights of these Heroes and Villains conventions, they had like a party, and they host it in the convention hall. So by 6:00, everybody's being pushed out by security, and he's setting up for this thing in the other corner of the convention hall, and he had not come back by yet. And so my husband went, yeah, there it is. My husband went and found him, and I'm waiting there for like 20 minutes, and I see them coming back together. And I'm like, oh gosh. But he took a photo of the final product, and actually I should point this way. Took a photo of the final product, posted it on Instagram, and my follower count went from about 75 to 1,500 overnight. And I know in terms of like 2022, like TikTok numbers, that's not a lot, but back in 2016, like that was huge. And a couple weeks after the convention, my husband and I were just kind of looking at each other, and we said, it was a really great experience. Do we think we could do this? I have insane anxiety about changing anything and starting anything new. And my husband said, well, if it wasn't scary, would it be worth it? Like, you got to take the leap. And so most things that are worth it are scary, he basically said. So that April, we made the Chalk Girl an LLC, and we have been drawing and dusting up convention halls ever since.
That's perfect. Awesome. That's awesome. And we're going to interject too to do some questions from people in the chat. And Damir's had a really good one that you and I actually touched base on a little bit a couple of weeks ago, and that's about clear coating. Damir says, do you do commissions? And if so, does it get a clear coating?
Yes. So this was probably the biggest question we get, other than did you do that? Which is a legit question that I get asked as I'm drawing the pieces. Yep. If you go to a convention and you see an artist drawing a picture, they have probably done the whole thing. I'm not finishing it for the leprechauns that came the night before. I did the thing. So other than that question, the how do you seal it is the next biggest question that we get. And we have tried probably 75 different aerosol sprays. We've tried lamination. We've tried clear coats and all sorts of stuff. And more recently than not, there is a sealant that we found that gets the job done about 98% of the way. We're still working on longevity. We're still working on, if you were to hang it up in your house and have it in the sun, like UV protection. We only got this spray about a couple years ago, so we are still working with it, but we are trying our hardest. Lou Ferrigno actually has an original Hulk piece that's in his home that we sealed. Robbie Amell, Steven's cousin, has a picture that we did that was sealed. The thing about it is that it makes the picture a little bit darker. So the integrity of the original drawing is lost a little bit, but we're trying to get around it. We're trying to figure it out. When somebody wants a bigger thing and they for sure want to spend their money on something that's a little more guaranteed, I also paint. So I'm actually working on a commission right now of Guardians of the Galaxy, which will be ready by April. And you guys can actually follow the progress of that. For once in my life, I'm doing great progress, reports on a picture on TikTok. So take a look on TikTok and you can see the evolution of the project.
So what's the biggest challenge with trying to get it? I mean, obviously, besides the obvious of chalk coming off and whatnot, what is the other big challenge that you've come across? Because lamination and stuff it sounds pretty unique ideas, but what happens to it?
So when I originally did the drawings, I did them on a black background. And for those of you that have a logical mind like I do, chalk is essentially compacted dust, right? It's literally a stick of colored dust. And when you add any kind of liquid to dust, the dust is going to go transparent. Yeah, it's either going to run or it's just going to become wet and dark. And on a black background, when something becomes translucent, it gets darker because the black is what's coming through. If you do on a white background, the white comes through, but it also shows any mistakes that you may have made from a darker color to a lighter color. That whole thing is there. So more recently, all last year, I've been doing stuff on a white background, and the intention is to seal all of them once I finish them all. And as soon as we can make sure that things will stay in place or even find one more step after the aerosol sealant, we will then be offering those up for either auction or sale or somehow, some way getting it to you so you can have it in your home. But a friendly reminder that these are on average 4 feet by 6 feet. So it's kind of hard. Not everyone has the space for it in their house. And because it is such a fragile thing, it's a little more costly, but we're working on it. There it is. I told you, Andy. I told you. I was waiting for it.
That's the beautiful thing of DSLR sometimes. But you want to talk about size comparison. We brought it up a minute ago, but here it is again. There's Lou Ferrigno and Beth next to that. And if you guys have seen Lou Ferrigno in person, you know how. Yes, that's a massive piece.
Yeah, and look at his bicep compared to my head. Yeah, he's a big guy.
I mean, case in point right here.
Oh, it's freaking crazy.
That's one of my favorites.
The delicateness of the piece, though, is kind of some of the allure to it, I guess you would say, too. It's so delicate that it's it's like China. You don't let anyone around the China because you don't want to break it. It's the delicate part of it makes it that much more of a collectible almost. So that's kind of unique. Yeah. Does the aerosol not blow the chalk?
It does a little bit, but in the same you can spray above the picture and let it settle onto the picture. So you have to,
yeah.
another part about that is that I live in Southeast Wisconsin, where the only place that I can do the sealant is in my garage. And it has to be, you know, windproof, and moisture has to be right, and the temperature has to be right. And
Totally.
in the Midwest, we get all 4 seasons in one day sometimes. So that's another challenge, is getting that. But we sprayed our Wonder Woman picture, and I am able to like put my hand on it from the top and run it down to the bottom without smearing anything, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's not, there will still be some particulate that comes off on my palm or my fingertips, but we also thought like our next step is to test that and see, can we put another layer of, you know, a thicker, more viscous clear coat on top, more of like a resin or more of a flexible acrylic of some kind. So we're getting there. It's just, it's taking a while. We've contacted like Rust-Oleum and Krylon and stuff, and the process to take something new in and get it tested is a little bit costly. And I'm just a small business. So but we're getting there.
DuPont might be another resource too if you haven't talked to DuPont. I'm sure you guys have looked into some aerosol adhesives. There's a lot of adhesives on the market that even dry clear, that if you haven't looked at it, that might be an avenue for an off live camera discussion or topic. But
sure.
Lots of great comments in the chat tonight, especially Luke with the constant dropping of the dad jokes with at crime scenes where they sketch out a body with chalk. Is that technically a diagram?
I'm saving that one. That is, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to go tell my husband, and we're not parents yet, and he's going to crack up laughing. It's great.
So you know what you got to do for people to, if they request pictures with you, you have to have them like in a chalk outline, like up against a wall. Like if you're gonna be a picture with me, here's the body outline diagram.
Yeah. Well, and what people like really don't understand. I wish I had a video of this moment. I have, circling back to So Quiltable. The family that is So Quiltable, we met them a couple years ago, 2 years ago at a convention. I actually met the father/husband of the group, and his name is Jason, and his best friend is they're both teachers at a high school. His best friend is Brock, who is part of BKS Art and Textiles, and it's also like a husband and wife team that does art stuff. But both of them met me, and we kind of just like clung to each other as what I have had mentors do to me in the past. Like they were very hesitant about starting businesses and getting into the convention scene and all that stuff. And I was like, no, guys, you have to take the leap. You have to take the chance. Like your stuff is good. I promise. Like I have seen everything from, you know, $100,000 pieces to $1 pieces. Like I'm sure that your stuff is somewhere in that range. And Brock has had me come in as an art teacher. He's had me come in and talk to his students. And what people don't understand is that I started this whole career understanding that chalk is temporary. And a lot of people see the finished product and they're like, oh no, what happens if wind, air, dogtail, smudgy kid hand? Like what happens if something touches this picture? And I just say I fix it, because it's a very malleable medium and it's very easy for me to fix. And so in Brock's class, I had my Thanos picture, and there's a quarter of the sky is just like a light blue and white because there's clouds and sky. And I took a dark purple piece of chalk and I just drew a line right across the middle of it. And he almost had a heart attack. It was like the best thing ever. But to then be able to show people that, no, I can fix it. And I just take different colors and you blend it in and it becomes restored. You would never know that the line was there. So a lot of people, like when they take pictures with me or stuff at the convention, like they don't necessarily have to plant their feet into little like foot spots. But we try to make sure that no hands get on it or anything. Chocolate sauce is a different story, slushy is a different story. But having it at the convention, and like I'll prove to people. Sometimes they don't understand that it's chalk. They look at it and they're like, that's no way. And so I go over to it and I take my thumb and I do like a Blue Man Group swipe up the back of the picture and show them like it's just chalk. It's just sidewalk chalk.
That's awesome. So you said you were kind of like encouraging them that some of them to or who was it you're saying you're telling them to kind of put it out there they were doing good work?
Yes. So Jason of So Quiltable, where Andy just purchased that awesome Ahsoka quilt from. Like I said, I met them about 2 years ago, and the following year, both of these guys had these businesses, it just made my heart melt because Brock was in a place where he just wasn't very confident of his art. And so trying to get into that, like, it's a very scary leap. It's very scary. Like quitting one job and starting a new job. It's very scary.
Well, they don't call them artists for nothing though, too.
That's true. So we, ever since they kind of came onto the scene, I made it my job, passing it forward or paying it forward from what other people had done for me. I said, here, let me teach you what I know. Let me tell you everything that I know about vending and conventions and all this stuff. And they finally got into the convention scene in 2020, right before everything shut down. So the only convention I did in 2020 was this tiny little one in a tiny little town so they live about 2 hours away from me. It was about an hour in between both of us. And I showed them, I was like, this is what a tiny convention is like. These are like, they had their own booths and they brought their own stuff and they were very nervous and stuff. But I had some free time. I went and I talked to Jason and I said, if you guys wanted original art to make instead of licensing pictures or doing something like that, like you can take mine. Like I'd be happy to collaborate with you to make a quilt, because and it's just, it made sense at the time. And not only that, but it would be like 100% original. Like nobody else in the world would have that kind of quilt, and it would give them a leg up. So we started talking about that. And to this day, they are allowed to take anything from my portfolio and put it on a quilt in case somebody asks. And everything that they've been pumping out blows my mind. I am an artist, but I don't understand quilting. So every time they show a new progress picture or a final product or let me hold one, it is so cool and so amazing. And the color choices and the fabric choices, like they just hit the nail on the head every time. And even though it might not 100% be my style, like I wouldn't choose to put certain shapes here, certain shapes there, like somebody out there loves it. And I'm just always impressed. So I was a super huge fan of the Ahsoka one.
I think it's super important. And you've touched on it a number of times, being an artist and doing adventures that you've done, to have a good support team around you and to find the people that are supportive and being positive in what you're doing, and you with them and pushing them to, you're helping bring art that might not ever made it to the table, but with support, with a positive reinforcement that you've done, you were able to now there are fans of this. And it also sounds like, your husband's been real supportive of you, and having that good support, the support group. I just like to point that out because it's extremely important. Like sometimes people feel that they can't do something like you can do it, but they can appreciate it, and their positive vibes really can help you put your stuff out there and really get it out to where other people that can't do it can see what you can do. It's good to hear that story.
Absolutely. And like, again, I was just paying it forward. Like my mentor, his name is Brian Roll of Odyssey Art. He does these fantastic just pop culture and superhero and fan portraits, all digital. And like my husband, it was that very first convention that my husband walked up to him and was like, he was listed as a celebrity artist at this convention. And my husband was like, if you have a minute of your time, my wife would love to talk with you just for the sake of talking with you, just because it would be really cool to meet you. And he he was impressed with the arrow picture. And so we just started talking, and then he became our go-to, and it just kind of happened. And I was like, well, there's no point of gatekeeping any of this. There's absolutely no reason to say like, no, you can't do that. Like whatever, everybody has something different to offer a convention. I've never seen any other convention have the quilts like So Quiltable does. I've never seen a convention have the digital or the hand painted art or the embroidered stuff that Brock has or that his wife has. So like there's no point. Like the world wants to see this stuff. Why prevent anyone from taking that leap?
Well, I commend you a ton on being open and willing to collab with folks and be able to do stuff like that, because it says a lot about your personal character, I think, and it also is good that you do stuff like that, and that there are other artists out there that help that work together like that. It's good to have a good supportive community for sure.
It is. And it is such an amazing community. Like everyone that has been to a convention has made a friend through a convention knows the camaraderie, and like you have convention buddies and you go there with a purpose. And like, it is a Christmas for us that the rest of the world doesn't understand. Well, the vendors have that too. Like there is a family that we can look through the list of all the vendors that are going to be there and be like, oh yes, I get to see Robin again. Or, oh yes, I get to see Jack. Like it's so cool to be able to go there, and not just vendors. You get to meet certain celebrities, or you get to meet certain celebrity handlers. Like we've become really good friends with a couple of the handlers, not having ever met the celebrities, like just because they're cool to talk to. So it was so missed during the pandemic. And I'm so excited to come back to it like at full force too. So if anyone here that's watching, like if you know that I'm going to be at a convention, please come say hi. Please come say that you saw it on this particular podcast. So that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
I know Andy's shaking his head a bunch there, because I know that's something he's really supportive, and really talks a lot about community, being around having good people. And I know he's shaking his head a bunch because he does a lot of conventions, and he always comes back with really cool stories on stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
You're muting.
You're muted again, buddy.
Yeah. See, you'd think I'd have this figured out now. But speaking of community, now is the perfect time to actually say we're going to reward the people that have stuck with us for 42 minutes. We're at the halfway point. We're going to double up the giveaway. We're gonna double up the giveaway, and we're gonna get the wheel out right now. So anybody that wants to be entered on the wheel for a $20 giveaway for Beth's Etsy store, the winner will contact me and Beth, and we'll make that happen. So anybody hit a number 1 in the chat to get your name on the wheel, and we're going to run that wheel here in just a moment. And this is a good time if you want to show off some of the stuff that you have on your some of the clips, some of the pictures. We can do the giveaway once some of these streams.
Oh, look at that
behind here. There we go. We got April going on.
So these are all 4x6s that I'm showing off, which is the smallest size that we offer on Etsy, other than our pins and our magnets. But yeah,
that's good.
Hand holdable. This one's. Sorry, go ahead.
The Sonic's from the newer movie. Is that what it's from?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it in focus. Some of these, so like this one is not on my Etsy, but I can certainly get it to you if you would like it. Yeah. Really fun.
Cool. That's really good.
Really fun. And I have a whole list of things that will be done. Like,
oh wow, that's so good. I like that.
Thanks.
I love the angles on that. That was cool.
Do you have an example of the $8 prints that I see quite regularly on your store? Is this it right here?
So yes, so these are the $8 prints. This is what you will get. This is a 4x6. It's a 100-pound cover stock postcard size picture, and I actually have a couple of the other ones right here. I can show you.
Absolutely. So essentially for about $20, you can get a couple of prints, or you can get a print and a couple of buttons, things of that nature. There's quite a few different things on the store. So right now we've got Come On Mama, Awesome Junk, Daymares, Christian, One Shot Comics, and Zuni on the giveaway wheel. And this is just, we're going to do it twice. We're going to do it one more time at the end of the show to reward everybody that sticks around and shows up at the tail end. Double O is now on the wheel as well. So really high chance here. There's only 7 entries. So this is a great opportunity for everybody.
You feel like you have a plethora of ideas, that you have more ideas than you have, or
yeah, always. This is a sample of the 8.5 by 11.
And those run.
This is online. I believe this is 20. Nope, this would be like either 15 or 17. Sorry, we adjusted prices a little bit ago. I'm sorry, everyone out there, but we had to adjust for shipping. So it's a little bit higher. But at a convention, if you were to meet me, this would be $10.
This is chalk? Or
Yeah. This is all like, so this is a copy. This is a copy. But the original was done with sidewalk chalk.
Ooh, yeah, great question from One Shot. Do you have an example of your medals?
Yes, I will be right back.
So I want to say that if you guys, the winners, shop on her Etsy store, we're just going to hook you guys up. I'm saying it's a $20 value, but I'm going to make sure that we're able to hook you guys up, and we'll figure that. We'll get Jeff on the wheel next here. One Shot says it's 17 for that print. Okay. Jeff is now on the wheel as well. But yeah, I think this is just a really good opportunity to showcase some of the stuff that she's been working on that is on her store. And what we'll do is once we do this giveaway, we'll segue into kind of her current. Oh my Lord, here you go.
Alrighty, so we have 2 different kinds of metal. This one is a brushed aluminum. So wherever there would be white, it's kind of hard because of the glare. It's obviously very shiny. And my camera's not going to focus, but wherever there is or would be white, you can kind of see
the metal,
a brushed aluminum effect, which is really fun for stuff like the superheroes that have the super shiny outfits, or anything that has like a sky effect. A motion effect is really fun. But then we also have just a plain white background, and this really makes the colors pop.
So what I'm hearing is the Star Wars metal prints are to die for.
Yeah, especially Ahsoka. So this is a white version.
It's super crisp, yeah.
Yeah. And they are like, it's all aluminum.
And aluminum like that.
Yeah, and they come with like a floating mount so that you can it's just a little wooden block that you can like put it on your wall and it'll be floating off your wall a little bit. Or you could put this in a stand, or you could frame it. But yes, so this is the 11 by 17 metal print.
Wow.
So I'm just going to show one little piece that this is a photo that I did that's on metal. But it looks kind of like a dragon. But what it actually is the water reflecting. It's water reflecting off of like in a pond.
Yes.
Right. It goes this way. You can see like the ripples.
Wow.
So crisp, you can't tell.
Yeah. I was thinking like this because it looks like a dragon to me.
That is really cool.
Okay, so last call. Anybody that wants in on the giveaway, please hit the number 1 in the chat. We've got 8 entries so far. Come on, Mama, Awesome Junk, Daymares, Christian, One Shot, Zuni, Double O, and Jeff Schultz.
I love those aluminum ones like that. It's really cool.
I have an exact idea of what to do with an Ahsoka medal from her, because we have the what is that? Sideshow Collectibles Ahsoka Tano premium format figure coming when they get that premium statue out. I'm like, this is exactly. I'm looking for a good website to put all my negative space art on. Chalk Girl, how long have you used Etsy, and would you recommend it?
So there's a lot of controversy with Etsy right now, and I can understand because people are coming at it from all sorts of backgrounds and years of usage and all sorts of that. I had my stuff on, I want to see who wins. Go ahead and pick a winner.
You want me? We'll go ahead and spin this. Or do you want to pause on the story real quick and long enough to do this? Okay,
go ahead.
Just shuffle a couple
like
of times.
The face should just sit there like up and down all the time. No, actually, I take it back. That's hilarious.
That's amazing.
And Christian is going to be the winner. Christian,
that's awesome.
Heck yeah. Congrats.
Shop on that Etsy store and hit me up on IG, man. And we will definitely hook you up. And actually, while we're talking about that, we're going to drop the Etsy store link here again real quick so that it is easy for everybody. And we will do that giveaway one more time at the tail end of the store while Beth tells that story real quick.
Yeah. But just to say that I had my stuff on a different platform where when we started off, we had a pay what you want system. For a lot of artists, pricing their work is really hard, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And so we had our first convention after the very first one. So the very first time we had anything to sell, we had a pay what you want, and it could be as little as a penny. It could be as much as $100, whatever you want. You've got to pay that. Didn't quite work out. So we shifted to Etsy. And the great thing about Etsy is that it's a household name. And so there's a lot of traffic. It'll be a lot harder to get folks to come to your website that maybe like has your own name on it or your business name, whatever it is. It's going to be a little bit harder for them to accidentally fall onto your shop. So at this point in time, I have been using Etsy since 2016. So about 6 years, and, or maybe not, maybe a little bit less than that, because we started with the other one and moved to Etsy. And just now, and not to be, everybody's story is different, but it is just now where I am ramping up and getting more sales, and it's becoming more of a livable wage, I should say. So I'm, like you mentioned before, my husband is incredibly supportive. And so he was the one that was kind of like, you can focus on this full time. We were going to do that in 2020, and then 2020 happened. So I'm a little bit behind the curve in terms of where I want everything to be online and me and all this stuff. But I do believe Etsy is great for somebody starting out. You really have to pay attention to metrics and analytics and SEO, which is search engine optimization. You have to watch a lot of videos and figure out how the ones that have done this before you got to where they are. You have to have multiple skills in terms of photography and like brainstorming titles and listings and promoting yourself. Like, you can pay Etsy all you want to do advertising for you, but that's only one source. So you wear a crap ton of hats. I could literally have as many hats as it would get to the ceiling. Like, there are so many parts of this small business thing, and it sounds like you already are established as a small business. So congrats to you, and great to have you in the club. But Etsy is great. It just takes some time. They are hiking up seller fees. So just because you have your stuff on there doesn't mean that it's, it's not a freebie. They do take percentages out of your sales. If for anyone out there that clicks on an Etsy ad, please know that anytime you click on the ad, the money is being taken from the seller. So it's way more beneficial to go to the Etsy page, like Etsy website, and type in, for me, it would just be the Chalk Girl, and to find me that way versus clicking on an ad, which is so counterintuitive.
If you buy it or not, there's money taken away from just click on the ad?
Both. So if you see an ad on Facebook, because I know mine is loaded with Etsy ads, if you see an ad on Facebook or on Google or anywhere that it's promoted and you click on it, the money that they're using for that advertisement, because you clicked on it, Etsy's saying, we did the work for you. We're going to take 20 cents from that listing from you. So there's a huge section before I get paid from Etsy that is ad sales, and it's taken out because Etsy has done extra work. And unfortunately, that's not something you can opt out of. So
if you don't sell anything, is you just owe it to them?
So they have this thing where if you click on the ad, they take some money. If you sell a product, they obviously get some sales. If you simply list a product, they get sales. So you're basically, if you list something, if you have an advertisement for it, and then if somebody buys it, you're paying Etsy about 3 times.
Oh man.
So
Yeah.
it sounds like hot linking direct to your Etsy store is the best option. But does that mean, can people, that poses a great question here in the moment, in the heat of the moment, can people buy directly from you if they contact you on your website?
The easiest way is to do Etsy. It really is. Like, it's like, again, I'm not trying to prevent, I'm just trying to balance the scale of like cons and pros. Etsy is the easiest way. They take care of all of the transaction. If somebody really did want to be like, hey, can I get this from you? This is my PayPal, or this is my Venmo. I could be like, yeah, that's fine. But it also helps me when it comes to taxes. I can look at everything in one place and see all of that. I don't have to go digging through PayPal or Venmo for whatever random sale I had. And I mean, at this point, it's where I've chosen to put myself. So it's not bad for me, but it might be for a new seller who, makes a $20 sale, but then they have 20, 40, 60 cents from Etsy taken off of that sale. So it's a little bit different. But it's one of the sides. But on a different side, like, they provide you with all sorts of ways to promote your business. They provide you with all sorts of, like a seller workbook on how to list things, how to take photos, how to, what words people are attracted to more, how to do TikTok. They just had a whole thing on, if you're an Etsy seller, how to promote your products on TikTok, which was really cool. I learned a lot from it. So it's just a massive work in progress. Like, small businesses are no joke. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would be the alternative?
You could have your own website. You could certainly, some of my friends do have their own. It's just a matter of getting that traffic, that organic traffic that,
having your own website, that's outside, but like an alternative to like an Etsy where it's like, is there an alternative? Like, is there another version of that?
Yeah, I believe that Square, the little like payment plan thing, Square Up or Square something, they have it where you can just implement it onto your website. Um, there are other seller sites, but again, because Etsy is that household name, everybody, that I've met knows what Etsy is. That's the first place they go. And because people are looking for customizable and supporting small business and doing all those things, they just know that Etsy is associated with all of that. So it's the first answer that I see. If you were to Google, small business seller sites, I'm sure you could find a couple others. I just haven't done that research yet because I spend my time doing other stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But that's a great question.
That's awesome. And to stay in the present, I know we kind of talked about tonight's show being the past, the present, the future, a little bit about Beth, the chalk girl. I want to stay in the present still here a little bit as we continue going. We're letting go of any time constraints. So Ryan, if you've got to bail at any time, please feel free to do so. There's so much more to talk and discover here. So staying within the present, I want to talk about something that you and I have started that's happening this Friday.
I'm so excited.
I think we're gonna get you to branch out a little bit here. I'm really excited for this, and I'm getting goosebumps here. This Friday, on Friday Night Fire, down in the Comic Dojo on Whatnot, we're gonna do our usual Friday Night Fire, and we're gonna sling some really fun comic books at dollar starts for 30 to a minute starts, like $1 starts. Kind of the timing is going to be dependent, because we have a special guest that'll be dual live streaming with us this Friday, and it'll be Beth, who will be live sketching on a comic book cover, and it'll be auctioned off as the last item for that auction for that night. More importantly, it's not just any comic. It's not just any comic at all. No. It is going to be a Darth Vader #1 from the 2015 Karen Gillan run, first appearance of the Black Coruscant. So that's already a big key book that a lot of people are looking for, that I have a lot of fun collecting. And Beth has said, she's alluded to me that it's going to be an epic Star Wars sketch. So I'm over the moon excited. She's teasing me on this. I'm really excited to see her work play out live but we're going to be dual screening on the Whatnot app. And like I said, we'll be slinging the standard key books and minor key books for a Friday Night Fire to keep buyers coming and keep buyers going. But more importantly, we're going to be able to showcase Beth's art and skills live, and then that book is going to be going up for auction at the tail end. So I can't wait. I want to know, Beth, how are your feelings on this?
I'm so stoked. I'm nervous out of my mind, but I'm so stoked about it. Which is usually how I feel about any project that I start. I've done a mock-up, and I have a clear idea with a couple things yet that need to just be like solidified. But I have a clear idea of what I'm going to draw, and I have been like thinking about this not just with ComicManAndy, but with like some other groups too, of like doing this live drawing and then auctioning it off at the end of the night. And I hope it's a massive win. I hope that I hope that 2 people just really want it. Just go for it.
All it takes is 2 people, and we've already committed to putting out a decent key out there of a book that is undervalued still, in my opinion. The last cover A of this sold for over $60, $70, $67, I think it was, this past Friday. Black Carasan's not going anywhere. What they put into the costume, what they put into being on screen, this character's going to be back, and we know that. It's a gut feeling instinct. He's going to be back. It's just too cool of a character to just drop.
Yeah.
So that book alone out there, there's going to be some drive in the value there, but it's going to be, we're essentially setting the market for your artwork on Whatnot.
I know. I can't believe it. And like, just the fact that it's coming to fruition and look, it's actually happening.
It's
really
right
cool.
around the corner. Have you ever seen Andy on Whatnot?
I watched for the first time on Friday. I watched the Friday Night Fire. It's my God.
Andy, man.
Oh my God.
Did you just say CrackManAndy?
CrackManAndy. He's going like crazy. He's like, rah, 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 rah. I just picture, you don't get to really see him, but I just picture him on like sweating, is going crazy on the background. Like, got this going on. It's just a lot of energy coming through the screen. You don't get to see him.
Yeah, and like you haven't even gone to like auction school, like. And I think, what was the catchphrase? I think it's "Holy smokes" or something.
Holy sheet.
Yeah. I love it. It's great.
It's a thing. I always reserve that last 10 or 15% of energy for the tail end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a nap. I got out of work, came straight home, took a 2-hour nap, got up like, oh, where am I? What is going on? And like, I thought it was Saturday morning, and then got down here, and it was time to go. It was time to go into 6th gear and just run with it. And I have so much fun with that.
Alter ego.
It really is. It kid you guys not. I'm sitting back here pouring sweat, having all sorts of fun. It is a blast. I think I have as much, if not more fun than some of the people coming in, watching it and buying. So that's why I'm really excited to have you in on this adventure on Friday. And we're going to go on Whatnot potentially tonight or tomorrow night and do a test dual stream capture kind of a situation, just to make sure we have things ironed out. I know that Whatnot is still technically in its infancy as far as an app goes. It's been rebuilt, reworked, and they diligently work behind the scenes to keep things flowing as well as they have been. And there's still a couple of bugs here and there, but I'm honestly very impressed with the way that they have things running. They have coders from Apple and Uber and a lot of the other big code companies that are hiring coders out there working behind the scenes. And the app is really coming into its own. It's setting the pace and setting the standard for the collectibles industry going forward. And honestly, Beth, I think this is an underutilized resource when it comes to direct to artist contact.
And I believe you, because the stuff that I was looking at as we were trying to troubleshoot some of these problems, like you see the same kind of stuff. And yes, they are fandoms that are like healthy and like they will be around for a while and new things are being released, or, that somebody got real excited because that one card was found in some forgotten like town. And so it's always resurging, but I have not seen a live artist on there yet. I've heard about one instance, but I've not seen any live art happening.
So what they've actually done is artists like Tyler Kirkham and some of the other artists that have made exclusive covers for Whatnot, they've taken the original art after completion and they put it up for auction, because original art is kind of a lengthy process. But your art style, what you have going on in the art style that you're going to be doing this Friday night is productive to, we'll say, like that hour to 2 hour long block. And I feel like what you have in your capabilities with streaming, with what you've already been doing with your business, goes hand in hand with the content and with the people that will be watching on Whatnot. So I think it's a natural fit to try out and set that market pace for your artwork. I think you're going to blow everybody's socks off. And I honestly think whatever it goes for Friday is probably only going to be half of what it should go for. But I mean,
it'll be so exciting. It'll be so cool no matter
people
what
are going to be sleeping and they're going to be shocked, and we're going to wait. We're going to wake them up.
Okay.
It's going to be my pregame before I go see Batman. I'm seeing it after the show there.
Oh.
And we got 13 people watching live. So this is one more quick announcement. Speaking of that, for those of you guys that have seen the Friday Night Fire Whatnot auctions, know that one item a week gets put up for charity for Mission 22. And I've actually received some items, and we're going to be figuring out what to put up, but we will pick a book out and we will put something up for Mission 22 this Friday. We've got some more Whatnot exclusives. I contacted them and asked if they would be interested in supporting that, and they said yes. So we're going to put a book up. It'll be a Whatnot exclusive, and let's send her some blank covers. Jeff, I'm way ahead of you. We've sent her some blank covers. I know she has a little stash of her own going forward as well, because in fact, you and I talked about that, and you've got a little honey hole, and that's also something else when it comes to comic book conventions. While you're out there, is sketch covers are still kind of a slept-on thing at conventions. Some people charge too much, and some people charge too much, and some people charge not enough. But not everybody's buying them up.
Yeah, and I have one friend that is almost his entire business, other than making his own comic book story. He does the sketch covers, and again, every time he pops them out, it's like I am impressed beyond belief. He just did a whole Ninja Turtle series. He's done some Wicked, the ones that are already like colored paper. I think he did a Wolverine on like a yellow background. It was so cool. Adam Fields is his name, Adam Fields. So if anybody is really looking into certain comic covers, sketch covers, like go check him out. Like holy cow. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it is kind of slept on, and I wish you could see that stuff more, but we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Oh yeah, I've already realized that if you're going to be at Motor City and you're going to be at a couple of the other conventions that we're at, if I'm digging through bins and I find a near mint condition sketch cover for $5 or $10, I'm basically just going to drop it off at your booth and be like, let's collab on something later. Here you go.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of a no-brainer to save on shipping costs and things of that nature.
Well, and I need a list from you to like look out for what things to keep an eye out for. Like I don't have a lot of time at conventions to go searching, but if my husband does, like if he goes to it, like give me a list of what I should be looking for. So yeah.
This show tonight is hopefully a great introduction to the comic book community, and welcoming you into what is essentially another avenue of artwork that you're already kind of touching and dipping your toes into, so to speak, this fandom that is superheroes and things beyond superheroes, Trek, Star Trek, that Picard print. Oh my God. There's so many other fandoms out there that you're a fan of as well, and an artist of, that it just seems a natural segue to introduce you to the comic book community here, because people, if they love comic books, they love art.
Yeah.
And it's a good two-way street. It's a good natural support system. So we've gone over kind of the beginnings, kind of that origin story, the past. We've spent some time in the present. And I want to touch bases a little bit on the future. And Rhino, there's a couple of questions that you presented kind of earlier that I think you and I should do like a mini rapid fire at the end with Beth of her, some of those things. So let's plan on doing that. But Ryan, man, can you lead us into some questions about her future?
Well, first I wanted to ask you, what's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Yes, heck yes. Okay, no, so here's the deal: is that Edie's, Eddie's, however you want to pronounce that name, just came out recently, fairly recently, with a whole like, I don't know if it's a limited time edition, like limited edition set of flavors that are all based off of Rocky Road. But they have one that is it's called Brownie Brick Road. Ooh. It is chocolate ice cream. It has a brownie swirl. It has brownie like crisp edge pieces in it, like not like chunks, but like the crispy edges in it. And I think it's got something else in there. And like my husband and I cannot get enough of it. It is so good.
What's it
and
called?
Usually,
who makes it?
Edie's, EDY''S, Edie's. Like you can find it at your grocery store. It comes in a purple container, and it is phenomenal. It's Brownie Brick Road. It's not exactly cheap, but it's really good. On the flip side, something that you can get all the time, just Culver's vanilla custard, like just a single scoop of Culver's vanilla. My birthday was last week. I treated myself to a cup of Culver's vanilla custard.
Yeah, that's the northern thing, you know that, right? Because like.
It's a Wisconsin thing.
It is because my wife, her family is from Michigan. Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, they're from there, and they always talk about getting custard. She's like, "Let's go get some custard," and I was like, "What custard?" And I'm from, I'm in Houston, I'm in the South. I'm like, I don't know, what do you mean custard? Like they want to go get custard, like that's a thing to go do. And I'm like, I think I've eaten custard twice in my life. And they're like, no, that's a northern thing.
And when you think about custard
down here in the South, I don't know if you have Bluebell up there.
Bluebell? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
It's a brand?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah. See. Yeah. No. I don't know if you're asking, you probably don't know Bluebell.
Yeah. Obviously, it would be. Yeah. But yeah. No. I guess. And when you think of custard too, like there's that English variation of it that's literally just like it's their version of a dessert. It's just like the filling of like a lemon meringue pie, kind of like a custard thing. So it's not that. It's like just it's a ice cream that's made with like egg yolks, so it's really smooth, really creamy. You can come up to Wisconsin, go to the largest Culver's in the world, and go get some ice cream there.
Oh, cheese curds.
Cheese curds, yeah. And then cream puffs at Wisconsin State Fair.
You said cheese curds? What is a cheese curd?
Oh my God, Ryan! You need to be schooled so hard. It's fried chunks of cheese.
Yeah,
they talked about that too. I think cheese curd. They had like a cheese curd. I was like, cheese curd? No,
cheese curds, little like nubbins of cheese. It's like the curd. I don't think it's exactly like when you think of curds and whey, like separating curds from cheese.
Curds and whey.
You
know what Tuffet ate or something like that?
Yes, but when they're making cheese, they have to like scrape, like it's all in like a vat of liquid. This sounds so gross, but they have to like scrape off the top, and like I think that's the curds or one of the two. But it's fresh cheese. You get them in Wisconsin. It's like fresh. Oh my God, it's so good. You have to try it. And then you batter it.
In Wisconsin, you're gonna have like the fresh cheese thing going on.
Yeah,
it's so fresh that it squeaks.
Yes, when you bite into it, it squeaks.
Yep. It squeaks?
Yes.
I gotta try that out. Or I've come to this to try that out for sure.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. And then like sometimes you can get it at a farmer's market. They'll like fry it up for you right there, or they'll season them. Oh my gosh. Come up to Wisconsin. Well, Midwestern hospitality.
If you've ever had mozzarella sticks at a sports bar, take that, but amp up the quality by 1,000,000 and amp up the flavor by 1,000,000. And it's just
I don't like mozzarella sticks because every time I've had those, it's like just biting into a piece of plastic.
Oh
no! This is
no.
This is a billion times better than that.
Are way better than that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh, and here's a really good opportunity to remember to say happy birthday to the mini Come On Mama. Just recently celebrated a birthday yesterday or today. If I remember correctly, it was today. But if she is listening, the mini CEO in training over there for Come On Mama and Zuni. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
But before we get into some favorites and kind of like a rapid fire 10 questions to kind of touch bases on the future, you've obviously put in a lot of work, and you're going to continue putting in a lot of work from what we've seen with the convention schedule. And we're really looking forward to that. Where kind of do you see yourself in your business in 5 years, let's say?
Oh, goodness. That question.
I know it's a tough one to say, but
it's just a scary question. To be honest, like in high school, had you asked me if I was started a business, I would have said, heck no. Like never, ever, ever would I have thought that I would have had a business. And so just thinking, and like it's a great thing that I have my husband, because my head does not understand things that are not tangible always. So stuff like, it's subjective or subjective stuff. It does not really gather that all the time. And so a lot of the parts of this business are my husband just conquers them. Like I struggle, he conquers that part of it. When people ask me this, I just want to have a business that provides for us. And should we have any kids in the future, I just want it to be enough. That's my goal. So if that involves doing the conventions, if that involves doing the commissions, if that involves, starting a podcast or whatever, like I just want to make enough to where I can support us. That's my goal. It sounds so millennial right now, but that is my goal. I couldn't tell you what that means. I couldn't tell you if that means like opening a brick and mortar or, oh God, that's terrifying. I couldn't tell you. I just know that it'll be working. It'll be arting, lots and lots of art. And hopefully just continuing this ongoing chat. Check me on February 28th in 5 years, and we'll see what happens.
Well, you get to the awesome thing is that you're doing something you love.
Yeah.
And then when you're doing something you love, it's not so much work anymore. You get paid to do it, so it makes it a job or a business. But when you're doing something you love, it's not so much like a work anymore.
It yes and no, only because
there's an aspect to it, but
yeah, making your hobby your work there is like a shift that happens. And obviously like your favorite things in the world probably don't have deadlines. But when you have to, create this product for people or create the new thing or have that constant feed of social media like content, it does become a little bit of work. That is the reality, the life, like wake up, like this is not just a thing, but yes, it is. I am incredibly blessed, 100-fold. I'm incredibly blessed to have a husband that said like, take the leap, do the thing. And I always ask him, I constantly, he's a firefighter paramedic. So it's not like he's getting, a salary of a politician or something, but I have asked him more than once. I was like, do I need to go back to the real world and get a regular job and stuff? And he's like, no, like, let's just keep creating and keep doing. And I'm so lucky to be able to do this. And I never really, you can't forget that. You gotta stay humble and you gotta do the work. So yeah.
Well, we tell them thanks from everyone for not only allowing you to be able to follow your passion, but also for all the work that he does for everyone in this community too.
Yes, absolutely. I will let him know right after we sign off.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you to your husband so much. Like the work for the community and then to turn right back around and double up those efforts for you is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. If you bring up my Instagram feed again, you'll see there's one picture that I like to post. It's either like on our anniversary or on his birthday. And it's literally him when I used to draw on the floor. I don't draw on the floor anymore. I had back injury, but I used to just draw on the floor, and he will literally like he literally lifts me up to take photos of these pictures, and like there's not a better better image of what's going on in this business. So I'm really grateful. Yeah, it really is.
Very cool. So before we close out the show, do you have a couple of more minutes for some rapid fire questions from Ryan and I?
Heck yes.
Totally off the cuff, nothing planned. We don't even have a number behind us. Because I got to know, what's your favorite cheeseburger place?
I don't like cheeseburgers.
Oh, okay.
Find me a veggie burger, solid veggie burger, and I will, heck yeah. But
I thought after all that custard talk, you were going to go straight up Culver's. So that's why I thought that door got kicked open and I was going to find out.
You go right through it.
I have found way too many things in my ground meat that are not meat. And so I have lost an appetite for any kind of ground meat.
I get that. Ryan, man?
What kind of music do you like to listen to mostly when you're doing your artwork?
When I'm doing my artwork, typically I'm listening to a podcast, but if I turn to music, currently right now, I just have a playlist that is a lot of the TikTok songs that have become really popular in like the last year. I'm a huge musical nerd. If we're traveling to a convention that is like 3+ hours away, there is a musical playing in the car. It changes. It varies. I go through stages. Sometimes you just want to like rage draw through something. So I do love like some heavier stuff or like some classic rock. I love in my house growing up, it was like Elton John and Billy Joel, like, so a lot of that stuff. I have friends that are in a band though. And so like, I love their band. They make some really like fun covers that are very acousticy and folksy. So pretty much if it's not like country or like screamo, I'll listen to it.
Very good.
Nice.
And you're next.
Favorite adult beverage?
I also don't drink. I'm becoming the most boring person you know.
No, this is why it's kind of like off the cuff. Like, let's learn more about Beth.
Yeah, I don't really drink, but I do love a mango dragon fruit lemonade refresher from Starbucks. That's a treat. I love that, and I love tea. Like, I just love tea. Tea is like my good like flavored drink.
So when you were young, you didn't know you were going to be playing with chalk outside of the schoolyard. What did you want to be when you were younger?
A veterinarian.
100%
wanted to be a vet. That, and like, I think I had a list of 30 things that also included like a hairstylist and a rock star and a dancer and a professional volleyball player. But yeah, I totally, when I was a kid, wanted to be a veterinarian. And then I learned that it was like 8 years of college. And I said, nope.
No.
Nope. And thank goodness I didn't go that route because student loans.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I know, right?
What else you got?
Favorite food? I mucked up the cheeseburger once, so let's just go broad spectrum here and say favorite food.
Okay, so like singular food or like cuisine?
Cuisine, Asian. Like, love me some food pockets. We had, quarantine Christmas was a food pocket Christmas. So we made pierogies, we had dumplings, we had pot stickers, we had everything that was a food pocket that you could possibly have, and it was amazing. I dare everybody out there to have at least one holiday a year that is just food pockets. It's amazing. Food pockets.
So if you could do any extreme sport, what would it be?
Oh, extreme sport?
Yeah, like you could do, extreme like surf, or you could go skydiving, or you could do base jumping, or.
Oh my gosh.
You could go see how far you can swim down without air.
My husband's a scuba diver, and I said no to that ASAP.
Really? That's right.
Yeah, he's a rescue diver, and watching the videos, he'll put the GoPro on his head sometimes. He can't see, like, the water's so dark that he can't see like this, and that terrifies me. I just thought of like today as like how cool would it be to learn to surf. I've never been like snowboarding either. I think snowboarding would be really fun. But yeah, surfing would definitely be cool. Snowboarding would be cool. I've never thought of myself as like, I would love to learn how to like parkour. Would love to be able to do that, to just like hoist yourself up 20 feet. Like, F yeah. Let's learn how to
a lot of
parkour.
fun.
Yeah, I used to be like a tumbler. I was a cheerleader for a long time, so like that kind of fits into that mold. But again, I hit the 30, and Mother Nature said no, and I was hospitalized the day before my 30th birthday. So like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, but yeah,
you can find some good extreme sports to do. You can still surf until you're probably in your 80s.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love that. I'd love that. Luigi was the parkour master.
We're gonna do a surprise double up here for the last giveaway, and we did 20 for the first giveaway at the halfway point. We're gonna do 40 for the giveaway at the tail end here. So anything on, and I'll get to these entries in just a minute here. Let's get back to that Etsy store. Let me grab that link, and anything on Beth's Etsy store is up for grabs. And what that means is it's also a credit towards something more than 40. Those metal prints. This is a good opportunity to pick up one of those metal prints if that's what you're into.
Yeah.
There's the link to the Etsy store. This one, as people enter and I get all of the names put on the wheel. Let's actually do solo screen real quick here while Beth shows those off. And we're going to get the rest of the people entered. I've got Come On Mama, Daymare's Awesome Junk, Whack Comics, Double O, and One Shot's in there now as well.
This is your 11 by
17. in there.
This is your 8.5 by 11.
Jeff is in there also. We're doubling this one up for funsies to reward everybody staying and hanging out for the evening and coming in and checking out Beth's work. So we've got 8 entries so far.
Sorry. Certain things of certain pieces have little like secrets in them. So for example, this is Daredevil is going to become hot again. But these two like match up, like the backgrounds match up. And when I get to doing like Luke Cage and Danny, what's his face, Iron Fist, like all the backgrounds will match up. I'm gonna have a whole Harry Potter series that's gonna match up. I have a whole limited edition series. I didn't even pull any of those out. All of those are only one of 50, and they've all been hand embossed and stamped and numbered. So those are limited edition, and you can only get one of those. I have door banners, vinyl door banners that are really cool. Yeah, you guys, there's so much more than just prints.
Do you have an Ahsoka medal near you that you can show off?
I actually make them in-house.
That's the one I'm most
like.
Or at least an Ahsoka print.
I have an Ahsoka print. I can get that for you right now.
So I want to show people the not difference, but show everybody. So this is the Ahsoka piece that Beth did on chalk in the 4x6 foot, 4 feet by 6 foot. And the way she captures light with chalk is phenomenal. And here is an idea of the print that she has with her. And that is, like Beth had said, slightly done up for the print aspect of things, but that's done with her hand and with chalk.
I see the difference with what you were saying, Andy, too, with what you were showing and that. You can see the difference. Yeah, there's a slight difference of it. But yeah, it's crazy.
My screen is also somewhat yellow. I don't know if that's my camera or if that's something else. So this is a little bit off on the color. And it might be coming through on your whatever device that you are using a little bit differently as well. But the color accuracy from my drawing to the print is like, I will never stop using the printer that I have. Yep. Actually, that's another great point too, is that when you are supporting me, you're also supporting a second small business because I get all my prints through a local printer in Northern Illinois. So it's not just me that you're supporting a second small business.
Awesome. And while people filter in and out, just type 1 in the chat to enter. We'll give people a couple of minutes, but there's one thing that we hadn't quite touched bases on a little bit that too many Brians in my day today, alluded to that you have an incredible ability to capture light within your work with chalk, like this Picard piece, and I wanted to highlight that for a minute. And electricity and light, and the way you're able to capture that with chalk is something we didn't get a chance to say or talk much. We were trying to get there, and we kind of got segued a little bit. And I want to refocus on this for just a minute as people enter the giveaway. We've got 8 entries. Just type 1 in the chat. $40 credit towards Beth's store. That means $40 towards a medal, or you can get a handful of prints. But the way you captured like Ahsoka's lightsabers, that's what sticks out in that piece phenomenally. And just the way you're able to utilize lighting in general is, I don't think I've seen people do chalk work. I've seen people do large pieces on floors in arenas and in other avenues, but it's these layers that you add are just phenomenal.
Well, thanks. Thank you. Like I said, it's like one of my favorite things is just light, and I think all of us can admit that, like, whenever you see a magical effect on screen, like a lot of times something's glowing or something, like even like the dust when people are like in an old crusty attic and there's a book and they like blow the dust off of something and how that hits all the light and the singular attic window. Like it's magical. So it really is. It's one of my favorite parts.
I could spend another hour just showing everybody the recorded content that you have. But yeah, this is kind of like how it started. You said you guys take the canvases and paint them black and lay them out on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we no longer paint them black. They all stay white. But this was from I believe this is the Critical Role one. That's how I used to do it. I used to sit on the ground and measure out every single line. And we have got a much more ergonomic way of doing that now, which my back is so grateful for. But there's a lot more like behind the scenes. So all of the limited edition pictures that you'll see on my website those were done during what I called Chalktober. There's a thing that happens in October every year that artists will do Inktober. And I was like, well, I don't work with ink, but I work with chalk. So we're doing Chalktober. And I would do 1 drawing a day, every day for October. It would be about an hour to 2 hours. Some even kind of reached to 3. But then I made my limited editions from that. Everything else was in a range of 5 hours. So Joker took 5 hours on the floor. That was the drawing of it, but the prep and stuff isn't added into that. But the Critical Role drawing, everything involved with that was over 200. So it's like the range is just kind of
200 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was 120 some hours of actual drawing, and then there was all the prep, and then there was all the research and devo before I even started putting paint on a canvas or putting chalk on a canvas. Yeah.
So I was watching there. A quick question for you. Y'all have like a housekeeper? Do you clean your own home, or how's that?
It is, and this isn't even our house. So I get things dirty everywhere in the house, and I do my best to clean up after myself.
I was just thinking, like the tubs got to be like all kinds of multicolored and stuff like that. So
I will say, like, this house is used to it. This house knows that. My husband knows that. What's terrible is that hotels like to keep white sheets and white towels.
That's
I have been to one hotel that has a singular like hand black towel for like makeup removal, but every other hotel I've been to has white towels. And so part of me always wants to leave a message for like the staff to be like, I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, that's something where, I mean, it's just chalk, but I can see what your hands look like after the process. Now,
Oh yeah.
do you have an issue? Like, do your hands get really dry and chapped because the chalk draws the moisture out?
No, actually it's kind of the reverse. My fingers get wrinkly. I couldn't tell you why, but I do a lot of like rubbing and smearing things in. So like when I used to work on the pavement, on the blacktop, it was not even, obviously there were like chips and divots. So occasionally my fingers would bleed a little. They'd crack and bleed. But when I'm doing stuff on the canvas, my fingers just get like wrinkly. It's really weird.
The cracking thing I'm doing, for whatever reason, I have this issue too where they dry and crack. It's the worst. I'm doing like I don't know why. I can't figure out why it happens.
Come to the north. Come to the north, man. That's a way of life.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, I wonder if your husband has a pet peeve. He's like, "Dang it, I told you not to leave this chalk here," or "Dang it, why did you?"
No, what you're not seeing in the videos is that the other half of our basement is an axe throwing range. So he's got his side. Don't worry.
Oh, that's all. Yeah.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of throwing things around, we're going to throw around this giveaway. This is the last opportunity for anybody to get in. We've got 8 entries. Come On Mama, Daymaris, Awesome Junk, Whack Comics, Double O, One Shot, Zuni, and Jeff Schultz. And this is doubled up for $40 credit towards Beth's Etsy store. So I'm going to count down from 5 once I get the screen shared. If nobody else enters, we're going to go ahead and shovel this up and run the wheel for the last giveaway of the night before we close out the show.
You guys, put your name in. Put your name in. Can they put a friend's name in?
They can.
Okay.
We will call that audible.
I was just asking on behalf of a friend that, like, maybe you don't necessarily like my stuff, which is totally fine, but maybe your friend would. Or maybe you have a friend with a birthday coming up, or a relative with a birthday coming up, that maybe they would want something. You never know. Just saying.
But yeah, we'll give them. Let me check the live feed. Oh, this is the tough part about doing a live show. StreamYard runs a solid like 30 seconds behind YouTube. Let me check that live feed. There's no other entries at this time, so okay. I'll count it down. And we're going to run. Oh, Magic Lasso. Yes, I agree, Jeff. We should add Magic Lasso just as a fun little side note. I know he's not here, but I'm sure he'd be over the moon for a Wonder Woman print by all means. Magic Lasso is a community member that is a huge Wonder Woman fan. But yeah, let's call it a that. We've given everybody plenty of time to enter. The people that are here that have chosen to enter are entered. And it's for a $40 credit. Like, I know I'd be all over that Ahsoka medal. That covers the bulk of that Ahsoka medal print right there. But let's get this pulled aside. Let's get the screen shared. And there we go. Shuffle it up a couple of times here. And let's see who wins the $40 credit to Beth's Etsy store with one quick spin and my ugly mug spinning around. I don't know why I did that. It just seems silly.
I think it's awesome.
Oh, that's funny. I like it.
Oh, is it going to be awesome? Is it going to be one shot? It's going to be Awesome Junk. Awesome Junk, please. You're still in the show, right? Awesome Junk. Hit me up on Instagram. Hit me up on Instagram or hit up Beth, the Chalk Girl, on Instagram, and we will make that happen for you. $40 credit towards Beth's Etsy store. Fantastic stuff right there.
Congrats.
There we go. Awesome Junk. Absolutely. I know there's something in there. I think I saw you talking about one of the prints earlier. So there you go. There's your opportunity. In fact, hit me up on IG first and I'll arrange it with Beth. I'll make it make it easier on you just message me. So Christian, and let me write down Awesome's name too. Those two individuals hit me up on IG message. Awesome Junk. Let me know in the chat right now if you don't have Instagram. If you don't, we can do email and we will organize that with Beth. Awesome stuff. And that's kind of the meat and potatoes, the past, the present, the future, a little bit of off the cuff fun questions and a couple of giveaways. And we're coming up on an hour and 40 minutes and this has been a blast.
Heck yeah.
This has been an absolute blast. So I want to take one more moment to plug this Friday on Whatnot. Follow ComicManAndy and that's it. Just search ComicManAndy. Follow me there. You'll get to see Beth's art. You get to be a part of that Friday Night Fire auction, whether you're watching and hanging out or you're picking up a couple of dollar grabs here or there, or you're getting to see this art play out and maybe even getting to bid on the art. I do know that we are going to do a book for Mission 22 on Friday as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to basically, that's my plug really quick. I should have gone at the end and given priority to the guests. My apologies. But Beth, when it comes to social media, here's your plug. Where can people find you and what do you have coming up?
Anywhere and everywhere. You can find me directly on my website, adventuresofchalkgirl.com. You can find me on TikTok and Twitch and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, all under the @thechalkgirl, all one word. You can also find me on Etsy @thechalkgirl. And you could find all my links in the info part of this video.
Very cool. Thank you so much, man. Or I'm looking at Ryan, and I said, man, because I wanted to segue right into Ryan and say, hey, man, Ryan, thank you so much for the co-host support. I really appreciate you being here tonight. I kind of think like 9 o'clock might be something to do more often, so I get to spend more time with you. I know our time is a finite resource and it's hard to come by a lot of times. So, man, where can people find you? What do you have going on next?
Well, it's right here. Rhinoverse, so RHYNOB or RHYNO, yeah, BERS, yeah, that's how you spell it. It's on all the major platforms as well: Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, you name it, it'll be there. And if it ain't, let me know and I'll put it there. So I really appreciate you letting me be on as well, Andy. I love doing stuff with you, doing shows with you and whatnot. I think it's always a blast, and every time I get an opportunity to, I do everything you can to outside of. I mean, my kids, you can't make them do things, but they know what's up, and they usually go to bed pretty easily. So thanks for letting me come on. There'll be some stuff on the different platforms depending on what time. I got some big books coming back from CGC. I just finished off Venom Volume 2 complete, so I'm going to do a show on that whole volume pretty soon, and just some other random stuff. I want to do some stuff pretty soon with some my old drummer, and we're going to do some music stuff as well. So just keep an eye on it and subscribe to Andy and to Rhinoverse, and you'll know when things happen.
Yep. Make sure you guys are following Rhinoverse on YouTube and on Facebook. The Facebook group there is a blast. Hang out with everybody there and sharing all sorts of great links and great finds too, like great exclusives. And that's your connection for everything Venom and Carnage, essentially, because that's where Ryan has his thumb to that pulse of the symbiote world. And make sure you guys follow the Chalk Girl Beth on all of the social media platforms, each and every one of them, including Twitch and YouTube. She has the YouTube channel, so don't forget to follow her there. And yeah, one last comment from Damiers. This year's Fuboshi convention is going to be really special. Apparently, it's going to be twice as big as the last one. Very cool. I'm gonna have to look that up.
That's a joke. That's a dad joke.
It's been really cool getting to know you as well. Thanks for being cool and open and joining us tonight as well. Like it was a blast. You're really fun to chat with for sure.
Next time we should just do random questions for the three, like everybody, just for 2 hours. Next time.
Yeah.
Nothing,
really cool.
nothing comic related, just random questions.
A Russian roulette of questions.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's not a bad idea.
But yeah, thank you so much for having me on. This is a blast. I cannot wait for Friday. And thank you again so much. I've said this to you like 20 times in the last 2 days, but like, thank you for everything. So it's been really, really cool.
I got goosebumps coming up for Friday. That's going to be so exciting because it's going to be awesome seeing you lay down the fire on a comic cover. It really is. And that being said, you had talked about it not being chalk. This was going to be a mixed media bit, right?
Yes, good point. So as we've been promoting my chalk art all night long, the comic book cover will not be chalk. It will be a mixed media. It will most likely be ink and marker and maybe even a little bit of paint. So don't be disappointed when you don't see a whole bunch of chalk on the screen. But I do want to make this last. I do want somebody to be able to take it home and for it to last in the mail. So yes, it will be a mixed media thing, and but it'll be really good. I promise. I promise that I'm as good, if not better, with some other media too. So
I'm so
now
looking
we're
forward
going to hold you to it.
yeah, heck yeah.
I'm so looking forward to it because this connective tissue that we call comic books, it's fantastic, right? But the most fantastic thing all day, every day, are each and every one of you out there in the comic book community supporting others, contacting each other, and just creating debate, creating safe debate, content discussion, because then that's variety is the spice of life. That's how we all kind of learn and grow. But the most important part all day, every day, stay original. Take care of each other. That's how we close out the episode. So have a great night, everybody. We will see you tomorrow night on Simpleman's Comics News Weekly, where we produce that show. We'll be there hanging out. We'll see you Wednesday for New Comic Book Day, and then we'll see you Friday for Friday Night Fire and best introduction to the Whatnot community over there. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for smashing that like button, hanging out and supporting Beth. And don't forget to subscribe to everybody.
Later.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.
Excuse me while I change. The roller boogie has made me sweaty. Yeah, sweaty. I love gold.